The wind howled through the narrow alley, biting at James's exposed skin as he pulled his thin, tattered blanket tighter around his shoulders. At just 10 years old, he had already learned that winter in the city was a merciless beast. His stomach growled, a constant reminder of the 2 days since his last meal. A half-eaten roll scavenged from a trash bin outside a bakery. Next to him, a scruffy brown dog whimpered and pressed closer, sharing what little warmth they had. James had named him Biscuit after the kind baker's wife who sometimes slipped him leftovers. Now, Biscuit was his only family. Across the street, the glow of a bustling cafe spilled onto the sidewalk. Laughter and the rich aroma of food made James's mouth water. He watched as a well-dressed man tossed a barely touched sandwich into the bin. His fingers twitched. He could grab it if he moved fast. But before he could, a voice rumbled behind him. "Hungry, son?" James flinched, expecting a scolding or a kick. Instead, he turned to see an elderly man with a kind face and a steaming cup in his hands. The man held it out. "Here, drink." James hesitated, but the warmth of the cup was too tempting. He took it, the heat seeping into his frozen fingers. The first sip of sweet, milky hot chocolate sent a wave of comfort through him. "I'm David," the man said, crouching beside him. "I have a hot dog cart near the park. You look like you could use a meal." James's throat tightened. No one had spoken to him like this in years. The next morning, James found Mr. David setting up his cart at the corner of the busy park. True to his word, the old man handed him a warm pretzel wrapped in paper. "Eat first," Mr. David said. "Then you can help me serve customers." James's hands shook as he took the food. He wanted to devour it in one bite, but he forced himself to eat slowly, savoring each mouthful. Biscuit sat at his feet, tail wagging as James shared a piece with him. As the day went on, Mr. David showed James how to grill hot dogs, how to greet customers, and how to count change. For the first time in his life, James felt useful. But it wasn't just the work that changed things. It was the way Mr. David treated him. He didn't scold when James made mistakes. He didn't yell when James's hands were too slow. He simply patted his shoulder and said, "You'll learn." One evening, as they packed up the cart, Mr. David handed James a small bundle. Inside was a second-hand jacket, worn but clean. "Winter isn't done with us yet," he said gruffly. James clutched the jacket to his chest, blinking back tears. Weeks turned into months. James grew stronger, his cheeks filling out from regular meals. He even saved a few coins in an old tin Mr. David gave him. One afternoon, a woman in a neat pantsuit stopped at the cart. She smiled at James as he handed her a hot dog. "You're very polite," she said. "Do you go to school?" James's face burned. He shook his head. The woman, Mrs. Thompson, as she introduced herself, frowned. "Every child deserves an education," she said firmly. She turned to Mr. David. "Would you allow him to attend classes? I teach at the community outreach school." Mr. David's eyes gleamed. "I've been hoping someone would ask." James's heart raced. School? Him? The next day, Mrs. Thompson returned with a backpack of books and a hoodie. James stared at them in awe. "This is your chance, kid," Mr. David said softly. "Don't waste it." School was hard at first. The other children stared at his thrift store clothes and the lessons felt impossible. But Mrs. Thompson never gave up on him. She stayed after class to help him read, and Mr. David quizzed him on math as they prepped the cart in the mornings. Years passed. James graduated at the top of his class, then won a scholarship to community college. Through it all, Mr. David and Mrs. Thompson stood by him, cheering him on. And when he finally opened his own diner, a cozy place called Biscuit and Buns, he made sure to hire kids like he once was, lost, hungry, but full of potential. because James never forgot the lesson Mr. David had taught him. No one should ever have to face the cold alone,